The first time it happened, I thought it was just a drunk neighbor. I was living alone in a small apartment building in Cleveland. Nothing fancy, just one of those older places with thin walls, narrow hallways, and doors that all looked exactly the same. It was quiet most nights, too quiet sometimes. That night, I was already in bed, half asleep when I heard it. Knock, knock, sharp, clear. Right on my front door. I remember checking my phone, 2:17 a.m. I just lay there for a few seconds, waiting to see if it would happen again. It didn't, so I got up, walked to the door, and looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty, no one standing there, no one walking away, just the dim yellow light and that same silent corridor. I stood there for a while, expecting to hear footsteps, or maybe the stairwell door closing. Nothing. Eventually, I locked the door again and went back to bed, telling myself it was probably someone knocking on the wrong apartment. The next night, it happened again, same time, 2:17 a.m., knock, knock. This time, I didn't get up right away. I just stared at the ceiling, waiting. A few seconds passed. Then, knock, a third one, slower, more deliberate. That got me out of bed. I walked to the door and checked the peephole again. Empty, exactly like before. No sound of movement, no footsteps, nothing. That's when it started to feel wrong. By the fourth night, I was expecting it. I stayed up on purpose, sitting on my couch with the lights off, just watching the clock. 2:16, 2:17, knock, knock. I didn't move, not this time. I just sat there, staring at the door from across the room, waiting. Nothing else happened. No third knock, no movement, just silence. After a minute or two, I slowly got up and walked over. I checked the peephole, still empty. I opened the door quickly this time. The hallway stretched out in both directions, completely still. No one there, no doors closing, no one running. It didn't make sense. I decided to record it. The next night, I set my phone on the table near the door, recording video. At 2:17 a.m., right on time, knock, knock, loud, clear, right there. I didn't move. I let the recording run for a few more minutes before stopping it. When I played it back, there was nothing, no knocking sound, just silence. You could see me flinch slightly in the frame when it happened, but there was no audio. That's when I stopped trying to explain it. A few nights later, things got worse. I stayed in bed that night, pretending to sleep. 2:17 came, right on time. Knock, knock. I kept my eyes closed, didn't move, didn't breathe differently, just waited. A few seconds passed. Then I heard something that made my chest tighten. Another knock, but not from the door, from the wall, right next to my bed. Knock, soft, close. I opened my eyes slowly and turned my head toward the wall. Nothing, just the same blank surface. Then knock, again, same spot. I got up immediately and turned the lights on. The sound stopped. I didn't sleep at all that night. The next morning, I went to talk to my neighbor across the hall, an older guy, quiet, kept to himself. I asked him if he'd heard any knocking late at night. He looked at me like I was crazy, said he hadn't heard anything. Then I asked if he had knocked on my door recently. He shook his head. Been out of town, he said. Just got back yesterday. That didn't help, because the knocking had been happening all week. That night I didn't wait. At exactly 2:17 a.m., before anything could happen, I walked to the door and stood right in front of it, watching, waiting, nothing, no knocking. I stood there for almost a full minute. Then I turned around, thinking maybe it had stopped. And that's when it happened, right behind me, from the door. Knock, knock. I spun around instantly and looked through the peephole. Nothing. But this time I didn't step away. I stayed there, listening. A few seconds passed. Then I heard something else. Not a knock, a sound, soft, right on the other side of the door, like someone breathing, slow, steady, too close. I held my breath, trying to listen. Then a whisper, low, barely audible, right through the door. I know you're inside. I backed away so fast I nearly lost my balance. Didn't look through the peephole again. Didn't go near the door. I just stood there in the middle of my apartment, heart pounding, trying to process what I'd just heard. After that, I stopped responding completely. Didn't get up, didn't check, didn't record. Every night at 2:17, the knocking still came, sometimes at the door, sometimes on the walls. Once, from inside my closet. I never opened it. I moved out about 2 weeks later. Didn't tell the landlord why, just said I needed to leave. Packed everything during the day. Never stayed there past midnight again. For a while, things were fine. No knocking, no sounds, nothing. I started sleeping normally again. Started convincing myself it was all in my head. Stress, lack of sleep, something like that. Then a few nights ago, I woke up suddenly. No reason, just that feeling, like something had pulled me out of sleep. I reached for my phone, 2:17 a.m., and then, very softly, from somewhere in my apartment, knock, just once. Not loud, not sharp, but close, too close. I didn't get up, didn't check where it came from. I just lay there, completely still, listening, waiting, hoping it wouldn't happen again. It didn't, but now, every night, I wake up at the same time, and I just lie there, waiting to hear if something else knocks. I never saw my neighbor turn on a single light. That's what made it stand out. I'd been living in a quiet neighborhood in Atlanta for about 4 months. Nothing fancy, just a small rental house with a narrow backyard and a clear view into the house directly behind mine. Most nights, I stayed up late. I worked remotely, so my schedule was all over the place. Sometimes I'd be at my desk until 2 or 3 in the morning, just typing with the TV on low in the background. It got quiet out there at night. No traffic, no people, just the occasional hum of an AC unit or a dog barking somewhere far off. That's how I started noticing it. The house behind mine was always dark, not lights off for the night dark. I mean completely dark. Every window, every room, it didn't matter what time it was. 10 p.m., 1 a.m., even right before sunrise. It was like no one lived there, but someone did, because in one of the second-floor windows, there was always a figure. The first time I saw it, I thought it was just a shadow. I was standing in my kitchen getting water when I glanced out the back window. The reflection on the glass almost hid it, but once my eyes adjusted, I could make it out. A person, standing completely still, right behind the glass. No lights on inside the room, just darkness, and a shape darker than everything around it. I remember staring at it for a few seconds, trying to figure out what I was actually seeing. Then I just shrugged it off. Probably someone standing in their room with the lights off. Weird, but not my business. I went back to what I was doing and didn't think much about it. Until the next night. It was there again. Same window, same position, standing, completely still. This time I watched a little longer. I don't know why, but something about the way it stood felt wrong. Most people shift their weight, move their head, do something. This didn't. It just stood there, facing my house. I couldn't see a face, just the outline, shoulders, head, arms hanging straight down. After a while, I actually felt uncomfortable standing in my own kitchen, like I was being watched. So I stepped back out of view. I told myself I was overthinking it. People do weird stuff in their own homes. That's it. But then it started happening every night, same time, usually sometime after midnight. Every time I checked, it was there, not moving, not sitting, just standing in that exact same spot, looking in my direction. After a few days, I started testing it. One night I stood there longer than usual, just staring back, waiting, nothing, no movement. So kind of joking to myself, I raised my hand and gave a small wave. I don't know why I did it, maybe just to break the tension. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then it moved slowly. Its arm lifted and it waved back. But not normally. It was delayed, like it had waited a moment before responding, and the movement itself felt off, too smooth, too slow. I dropped my hand immediately and stepped away from the window. That was the first time I felt actual fear. After that, I tried to avoid looking, but it's hard to ignore something when you know it's there. Every night I'd catch myself glancing at that window, and every night it was still there. Sometimes I thought it looked closer to the glass than before. Other times, its head seemed slightly tilted, not a normal tilt, too far, at an angle that didn't feel natural. I started closing my blinds earlier, turning my lights off so I wouldn't be visible from outside. But even then, I couldn't shake the feeling that it could still see me. One night, during a storm, everything changed. It was around 1:30 in the morning. Rain was coming down hard, and lightning kept flashing every few seconds. I was in my living room, lights off, just watching the storm through the window. I told myself I wouldn't look at that house. I really tried not to, but eventually I did, and there it was, same window, same position. I stared at it as lightning flashed across the sky. And for a split second, the room behind it lit up. Completely empty, no furniture, no person, nothing, just an empty room. The darkness returned instantly, and the figure was back, standing exactly where it had been. I froze. My brain couldn't process what I had just seen. Another flash of lightning. Empty. Another. It was closer, right up against the glass. I stepped back so fast I almost tripped over the couch. I didn't look again that night. After that, I kept my blinds shut all the time, day and night. I didn't want to see it anymore. For about a week, things felt normal again. No looking, no thinking about it, just routine. I even started convincing myself I imagined the whole thing. Stress, lack of sleep, my mind playing tricks, that kind of thing. Then one night, I made a mistake. It was late. Around 2 a.m., I went into the kitchen to grab water and realized I had left the blinds slightly open, just a small gap. Without thinking, I looked through it. The window across from me was empty, no figure. For the first time since this started, nothing was there. I felt a wave of relief hit me, like whatever had been happening was finally over. Then something moved, not in the window, lower. I looked down toward my backyard, and my heart dropped. It was standing out there, closer than it had ever been, right at the edge of my yard, facing my house. I couldn't make out details, just the shape. But I knew it was the same thing, because it didn't move, didn't react, just stood there, watching. I backed away slowly, not taking my eyes off it. Then I turned off every light in the house and locked myself in my bedroom. I didn't sleep at all that night. I moved out 2 days later. Didn't tell anyone why. Didn't go back at night to pack. I did everything during the day. I never looked at that house again, not directly. But the last time I was there, I couldn't help it. I was loading the last of my stuff into my car just before leaving for good, and I made the mistake of glancing up. The window, second floor. It was there again, standing in the dark, exactly where it used to be. I stared at it for a few seconds. Then I noticed something that made my chest tighten. There was another one, standing beside it. Same stillness, same shape, both facing my house. I got in my car and left. I didn't even close the door behind me. I don't live there anymore. I don't even live in the same part of Atlanta. But sometimes late at night, when I pass by houses with dark windows, I catch myself checking, just for a second, making sure there's nothing standing there. I started noticing him because he never seemed to leave. At first, I didn't think much of it. I had just moved into a small rented house on a quiet street in Portland, the kind of place where nothing really happens, just rows of similar houses, a few parked cars, and people who mostly keep to themselves. My routine was simple. Work during the day, come home, eat, then usually stay up late scrolling on my phone or watching something until I passed out. That's when I'd see him across the street, standing on the sidewalk, not pacing, not sitting, just standing. The first time, I assumed he was waiting for someone, maybe an Uber, maybe a friend, maybe he lived nearby. He wasn't doing anything threatening, just standing there, facing down the street, so I ignored it. The next night he was there again, same spot, same posture, same stillness. It was around 1 a.m. and I only noticed him because I happened to glance out the window while grabbing water. At first I thought it might be a different person, but something about the way he stood felt identical, arms relaxed at his sides, head slightly tilted forward, not looking around, just fixed. I watched him for a few seconds, expecting him to move. He didn't. Eventually, I went back to what I was doing. By the fourth night, I knew it was the same guy. Same time, too. Somewhere between 12:30 and 2 a.m. he'd just be there, across the street, standing. One night I tried to get a better look. I turned off the lights in my living room so I could see outside more clearly. The streetlight hit him just enough to make out his shape, but not his face. That's what bothered me. I could see his body clearly, but his face always seemed darker, like the light just didn't reach it properly. A few days later, I did something stupid. I opened my front door, not all the way, just enough to step out onto the porch. The air was cold, quiet, the street completely empty except for him, standing exactly where he always stood. I don't know why, but I called out, "Hey, you good?" My voice sounded way louder than I expected. It echoed slightly in the silence. For a second, nothing happened. Then his head turned, slowly, too slowly, until it was facing directly toward me. I felt something drop in my stomach, because even though I still couldn't see his face clearly, I knew he was looking at me. I stepped back inside immediately and shut the door, locked it, didn't look out the window again that night. After that, things changed. He was still there every night, but now, he wasn't always in the same place. Sometimes he'd be a few steps closer to my house. Not much, just enough to notice if you were paying attention. At first I thought I was imagining it, but one night I used a parked car as a reference point. The next night, he was closer than that car, by maybe a few feet, still standing, still facing the same direction, still not moving. That's when the feeling started, that constant, low-level unease, like being watched. Even when I wasn't near the window, even when the blinds were closed, I'd be sitting on my couch and suddenly feel like I shouldn't be in view of the front of the house, like something out there knew exactly where I was. One night, during a light drizzle, I made the mistake of looking again. He was much closer now, not across the street anymore. He had crossed it, standing on the sidewalk directly in front of my house. The rain hit him, but he didn't react, didn't move, didn't shift, just stood there, getting soaked. I stared at him from behind the curtain, barely breathing, and then, very slowly, he lifted his arm and pointed directly at my house. I dropped the curtain immediately. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I tried to rationalize everything. Maybe he was homeless. Maybe he had mental issues. Maybe this was just some weird coincidence. So I decided to check something. That night, before it got late, I walked outside and looked at the spot where he usually stood. There was nothing unusual. No marks, no footprints, nothing. It looked like any other part of the street. That made me feel slightly better, like maybe I was just overreacting. That night, he didn't show up. For the first time since I'd noticed him, he wasn't there. I checked multiple times. Midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., nothing. I actually felt relieved, like whatever this was, it was finally over. Then I heard something, a soft sound, behind me, inside the house. I turned slowly. The hallway leading to my bedroom was dark, completely still. I told myself it was nothing, just the house settling. But then I heard it again, a faint shift, like someone adjusting their weight. From the hallway, I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight, shined it down the hall. Nothing, empty. I stood there for a few seconds, listening. Then I started walking toward my bedroom, slowly. Every step felt heavier than the last. I reached the doorway, shined the light inside. Everything looked normal. Bed, desk, closet, nothing out of place. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. Then my light moved toward the window, and I froze because the curtain was slightly open, just a small gap, and through it, I could see him, standing right outside my house, closer than ever before. But that's not what made my chest tighten. There was something else, something I hadn't noticed at first. My room was on the second floor. There was no way he should be at eye level with that window. And yet, he was, standing perfectly still, face still too dark to see, looking directly at me from outside my second floor window. I don't remember grabbing my keys. I don't remember leaving the house. All I know is I ran, got in my car, and didn't stop driving until the sun started coming up. I never went back. Everything I owned is still in that house. I don't care. I'm not stepping foot in there again, but sometimes Late at night, when I catch my reflection in a dark window for just a second, it looks like something else is standing behind me, perfectly still, watching.